right, so I've been in, I was trained by the Marine Corps through AOCS, Aviation Officer Candidate School, Marine Corps drill instructor. So I began my career with 4 months with a Marine drill instructor. Yeah. And then I served half my career in the Navy and half in the Army or half in the Air Force. And I worked with the Army a lot. So I know all 4 branches quite well. But there was something very special about naval aviation. It was like a jock fraternity made up of 40 comedian wannabes, great personalities, all type A, and we were tight as buddies. And what made it really interesting on an aircraft carrier, and I one of the things I loved about it, is it's a dry county. There is no alcohol on an aircraft carrier. So here you have guys, average IQ, and back then it said 140 or something, really sharp dudes who are highly educated, highly motivated, with all this. When you're not flying, there's a lot of time on your hands. So the amount of absolute slapstick comedy that happened on that ship, it was ridiculous. And so we bonded in this entirely platonic and sober environment at sea in a way that I've never gotten experience anywhere else. If you can imagine 40 guys in close contact with each other all day, every day, a couple hundred more pilots on the ship too from other areas. And it was just, I don't think anything's replicated it, but movies try to show it. The movies try to give you a little sense of what it's like. And they do, but they don't get it right. Like for instance, all the call signs in a movie, all the fighter pilot call signs are really cool call signs.
Yeah.
That's not the way it is on the ship. No.
Give us some call signs then. And also, I'd like to know what Butch's call sign was.
His Butch.
Butch, okay.
Yeah, because he looks like Butch from Little Rascals, so.
That's a good insight.
Yeah,
I was wondering about it because his first name
Barry,
is
yeah.
Barry.
Yeah.
And I thought, I mean, that's a good, like, why
your
come up
older
with a
viewers,
nickname?
Your older viewers will know who Butch from Little Rascals is.
So, no doubt.
And we had an alfalfa. And then we had Spanky. And then we had one guy, he accidentally hit a deer when he was landing back at Virginia Beach. He hit a deer one night, just a little spiked deer, but he came into the squadron. He was a brand new guy. He goes, well, I guess y'all can call me Buck. And the skipper goes, you are Bambi. So he became Bambi, and then his bombardier that flew with him all the time, Thumper. So, I mean, that's the way the call signs actually went. Now, I got away with mine just being Z because it's easy for a Marine to spell.
Well,
so,
it almost wasn't Z, was it?
Nah.
What was it almost? What was it almost?
They called me Flanders, like Ned Flanders, for a little bit because I was a born again Christian and I didn't cuss, and so I got Flanders for a little while, which I had to act like.
Why did it stick? That's what I
had to act like I liked it. I said, "Oh man, my mom would be so proud if she knew that, that y'all were making fun of me."
So as long as you liked it, it wasn't going to stick.
Correct.
Okay. You had to hate
if
it.
he would have bristled at Flanders, that's what we'd be calling him today.
Oh yeah.
Flanders, yeah.
Yeah, and then every now and then somebody, when they get to be a senior officer or whatever, they don't like their call sign, and so they kind of want to see when they move to their next assignment if they can kind of change it. We had an air wing commander who he came in and we noticed that the paint on the side of his jet and on his thing, it said Sundance. Oh, and we were like, Sundance. He'd been a West Coast guy. We called back there. He actually had a really derogatory call sign. So but he said he didn't want to be called that. So we go, this is a little touchy because he's like your boss's boss. He's the only 06 pilot on the ship. So what happened is the next time we pulled out of port, we were in Dubai, and on the port side right there before you got on the aircraft carrier, they had some shawarma that had been it's like that big meat spit, where there's so shawarma on a pita pocket. So we were all eating those things right before we climbed on the ship to pull out, and turns out, I think he might have been Taliban, the guy that was selling those things and was selling us rotten meat, because a couple hours later, we all started to get rather severe biological effects. Yeah. Well, that happened right as they're launching the first wave of fighters into the Persian Gulf that night. And my buddy, I think Keith was his name, I forget what his original call sign was, but an hour later, he came back with a biological emergency, and his call sign became Squishy. And then an hour later, another guy comes back and his call sign is Squashy. And fortunately, Sundance was on the next go, and he became Chili Pants. So that's the real skinny on how naval aviation. So when you watch a movie and they got these really cool call signs like Viper,
No, not happening. No Iceman.
no.
Yeah.